I'm Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights in Strait Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. Yeah, I came on late because I'm still looking for my guest. You know what? I think this is going to be one of the last unpaid for guests. We're having trouble streaming to Instagram. If you need it on Instagram, then this is expected. If not, and this continues, try streaming. I don't know. I tried to hit Ghost Live, and it. All right. I hope you're seeing this on Instagram. Good morning. Good morning from Insights and Strait Talk. This is Rod Duff. I'm your host, and the host with the most. I'm feeling pretty good today. Well, I was feeling pretty good today until about 9 minutes ago. Well, actually, okay. So this is what happens on our show, but a little behind the scenes dialogue here. So we have most of the people we have as guests asked to come on, and they're paid. They're paid guests. In other words, they pay to come on because we also do a lot of editing. You see a lot of the social media clips that we send out, and they get thousands and thousands and thousands of views. So, we're providing a service to them as well as being here with you guys. And then when I find something that I think has got a pretty good potential to be a real good subject for my family, for us, for the group here, for our community, then let me take this. Then I'll have a tendency to, bypass some other people and throw them out this one type of invitation that I have. That I have a couple of different invitations or links, I guess is a better way to put that, to come to the show and bypass the process, straight in kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I was hoping to ask my guests, so I'm going to ask you guys. I just got a new air conditioning system, so to speak. You can see my little flag waving in the background there. And you can see my little granddaughter. And my dad, that's my dad from Vietnam. And then that's my Uncle Tom, his brother. They served together. Anyway, so here we are. I am comfortably getting to know the great people of Mangum. I've been to a couple of the surrounding towns now as well. So kind of doing the whole tour thing. You see down here, this is the Appalachian Trail. I've done, and I lost the pins, but obviously there's holes so I can stick them back in. But I've done a couple links of the trail. But I'm believing. Hey guys, looks like everybody's starting to come in. Settle in, folks. Our guest. I was just getting ready to say our guest is, I think I'm not going to accept any more non-paying guests. It just seems like when people don't have, you give them an opportunity sometimes and, it maybe is just bypassed or not seen or not appreciated or, not part of what their day, or it could be an emergency. It could be any number of things. Different stuff happens. By the way, I got the samples from the people, speaking of an emergency happening and going through this process, and that was a paid guest. So they really made sure that they doubled up to try and get to the show that we talked about. It's called Fresh Breath. Talks a lot about the medical problems occurring from the food produced by our Food and Drug Administration, our FDA and beyond. That they have a mission, but they also have an amazing product, and they sent me a sample of them. We might be I might be talking about them a lot more because it really looks interesting. I got it yesterday, started reading some of the information, and I've gotten a couple of different samples from different different guests that come on. And this one, I mean, they all look really, really awesome and work really well. This one I have really high hopes for because I think it's a new way of moving in oral care as well as food, acknowledgement and discussion. And as you know, part of what we do here, every part of what we do here is for the great middle class. So not going to be, I don't think I'm going to take on any more unpaid guests. Let's see what Chris was, I had a lot of high hopes for this one too. Let me pull up his data. Let me show you some of the background of what we do here on the show, what it goes through just to get to this point. So I had to get up at like 4:30. Well, I get up early every day. I mean, that's not, I had to, yes, but that's not a real accurate statement. I got up, did my morning workout. I hooked up with the gym. Let me tell you about some of the people in this town. So I went down to the gym, a place called Total Fitness. It's, I don't have my keys with me, but it's a little fob on a door that you just, kind of like my motorcycle fob on my Harley. You just touch it and it opens, in this case, opens up the door. And then there's, which I love, because you guys know I do, or I have done for a long time, Peloton, which I haven't done since I've been here. So I think I've got like a couple of different streaks of like 102 weeks or something in a row. And I had one going like that, but that's like it. So I didn't, I haven't done the Peloton in a while, but what they have over there is a row machine, which I love rowing. When I lived in California in Orange County, I used to do crew and just not on any team or anything. I was considering it, but I did it just for my own, through the backwaters of Newport Beach and Balboa Island. Used to go by John Wayne's old place. Crazy world that we've lived in. That we all live in, but that I've been fortunate enough to be some part of different experiences. When I crewed, one time I had I had a seal jump up on the front of, you know what a crew boat is, right? A long, thin. There's teams and then there's single. So I was cruising along and going through some kind of shallowy water. There was seaweed coming up around, imagine and this is through the back bays of Newport Balboa Island. And so there's a place down there called the Newport Beach Bay Club. And they do sailing and there's different activities. And one activity that's really big, obviously, down on the waterfront is things like crewing. And it's such an awesome sport for bringing your lower back. God, do you know what? I've got to get this damn office set up because I'm in temporary all over the place and it's really fucking me up and it's pissing me. I'm using a cord now for my earphones because I haven't got the Bluetooth to connect with the new setup I have. The laptop we had a big electrical storm and that's a very big, I used to use it in our engineering department. It's got a lot of power. And oh, by the way, let's get back to some of the people in this town. It's really interesting. Total Fitness. So they have the crew. So I was working on that. It reminded me of the time back in when I lived in California. Long time I lived in California back and forth, but at this one time, I think it was right before. I was a sophomore year in college when I transferred out to Illinois to go to Harper, a small engineering type college, actually in Illinois, because I used to go back and forth, so I had connections in both sides and going into business, so went that route. I also did I have theater there? No, that was in California. All my theater was done in my earlier years, and then as I started to get serious about life, which which really wasn't accurate. I wasn't really serious about it. I was hiding, I think, from life and taking risks. A lot of experiences come down since then. I'm sorry, I'm not even looking at the screen here, guys. I'm actually looking at a blank screen right now. Ronaldo, there's my girl. Could you ask suggestion subjects for future shows? My suggestion would be stem cells. No, that's a good one. Medical science, stem cells, people that live off the grid. These are good things. And, some of the things we were talking about, Ronaldo, you and I were, well, before I get onto that, I just want to get through this Newport Beach story. So as I was crewing down, one time a SEAL came up and sat on the front of my boat for a minute and just kind of just hopped off and went off again. And I love SEALs. I scuba dive, or I did back then. I got to get back into that. Actually, I saw my card the other day. That's me in the old days, back in the Afro days. That's my diver card. So I'm certified, or was. I got to get recertified, but for night diving, shipwreck diving, freshwater diving, which is really kind of a cool little difference. But night is the best. Night's the best. Under 100 meters, I'm certified. I'm not a boat captain or anything like that, nor would I want to be. Too much responsibility. I want to go have fun. So they, as I was crewing down this one time, all of a sudden I looked just ahead of me to the right. And remember, this is the back bay of Newport Beach. Balboa Island area, and in that back bay there's houses, right? You got a little island cut off, and the channel goes this way, and it's, I don't know how deep it is, probably 100 200 meters deep, in there. And the reason I say I know it's got to be that, but there was a baby whale just tracking me right in front of me. I was actually going right off of their left side, their left port. And I'm sitting there crewing alongside this whale next to a house and another house around the corner from John Wayne's place. That was a pretty cool time. And then we kept going. I never saw him again, but some pretty cool experiences. But to Ronaldo here, I'm a little irritated with you, and you know why. Anyway. The suggestions for the shows, guys. Yeah, that's a great idea, Ronaldo. I mean, please, let's get some more suggestions. And honestly, I need to figure out how to I need to fill in more theme, or find out a different way to have guests come on, because what is it? It's got, first of all, no paid. One paid guest had a family emergency. That was the Fresh Breath people, which I'm going to try their samples right now. Well, not right now, but right after the show. Remember, we also have a 2:00 show today. But on this event, really good, looked like a really good topic, AI with humor. I like that combination. I mean, AI is a very upcoming, but so far semi-discreet technology. And look at that. Is that just coincidence? Yes. Look at that. I thought that was me making the move. How do you guys like the new studio, by the way? Still got some stuff to work out, but I got, some family members over here. This also has my mom over there. She's got a picture book and stuff. So just fun stuff to kind of gather around the theme of what we do. I am Ronaldo. I am going to do a Man on the Street show coming up. After work, I met the mayor. Didn't know she was the mayor. Actually, she's the owner of Total Fitness, which I did not know until I talked to Sunny there while we were at the gym. She was with Sunny. The other Jennifer is the other lady's name. Both married to wonderful guys. As a matter of fact, one of the guys is maybe going to do some work on the studio here. But it's interesting to start to learn about the different aspects different idiosyncrasies of a small town. And what's really interesting is I'm starting to see that all the same issues, all the same things, all the same characters involved in this or that are the same thing. I'm going to pop up Joe's question here and read it as we go along. Ronaldo, thanks. Please keep feeding me here because I have a feeling this is going to be a weird day. And yeah, let's talk about AI. You know, I got that class going. Well, we're going to be opening up pre-registration. I just did a marketing thing for it, which I'm waiting for something back. Also, the book is going out. I'm going to start. There's several guests that have asked me for the books, not book summary, the book. Thank you, Ronaldo, by the way. And Joe, what inspired you to pioneer SAP Cloud Solutions so early? Yeah, Joe, I know. Fuck, I can't answer those kind of questions today. Hopefully Chris will say, "Oh shit," and pop on, because I don't. What I do is I tell them, and I send them out to our text system that we have in the booking lines, and then I send them out by email, and everybody's required to, or not required, but I said, please arrive 7 minutes early. There's 2 reasons I do that. I don't just say 5, because that kind of is like, okay, 5 minutes early. That's kind of a blend. Oh, by the way, we'll get to the people in this town some more too. This tea is really good. It's got a grassy, when you eat or you drink not Slurpees, but you drink drinks, fruit drinks and frozen fruit drinks and so forth, and you put a little of the green grass root in this and that. That's kind of what it tastes like. It's really good and it's really healthy. Figured I'd do that since I'm starting to work out now. Join the gym, got a little morning coffee place. The people in that, the owner of the gym is the new mayor of the town, and I'm going to have a lot of conversations with her, I hope, about certain things, including the educational thing you and I have talked about quite a bit, which ties in AI. Let me see what a couple other people are. Lori, Todd, and Kenneth, how you doing? What was your biggest breakthrough moment with AI and SAP? Yeah, guys, I know why you're on this show, and unfortunately, Chris has kind of stubbed his toe, let's say, and isn't helping us here with being able to. Lori, Todd, you look new, but your name sounds very familiar. I wonder if I must know you from somewhere else, but how can startups leverage SAP without massive budgets? That's a question I can answer, Lori, and I'll get back to you in a minute, because that's today, and I use this example a lot. And Lori, I'm not Chris. I do know a little bit about a whole lot of things. A couple of other people on here would be able to testify to that. But I am not the expert, and so I'm not going to be able to answer everything to the degree that we would hope for. And I honestly, you know what I also need to do? I need to have some sort of pre-recorded setup thing that I can bring in and give some good, solid, rehearsed information that's aesthetically and numerically and functionally correct for times like this, because for now I still have about 3 or 4% of the guests. We're booked through the end of September right now, and I guess there are openings, but we're into October coming up. And by the way, my granddaughter's turning 2 towards the end of October, so that's kind of cool. I'll be down there, by the way. I'll probably do a show from down there, by the way, when I'm down there, because I spend days instead of hours with them. It doesn't make sense to drive a couple hours and then turn around and drive back. And now we've got a little doggy sitter that hangs out with my dogs when I go down and see the babies and the kids. All right, so I'm getting off track here. So, Lori, we'll get back to your question. Ronaldo, we talked a little bit ago about this. We got 320 people on here. Folks, as Ronaldo's asking here, please suggest future subjects. And also I'll add to this, Ronaldo, and two things she gave really good is stem cell research and activity. She actually uses stem cells in her knees because she's been a runner all her life, very good shape. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of her work from the past or current on social media, but very active woman all her life. But she has a couple of very big interests. One of them is fit, running, which she can't do anymore because any of you who are like us, Ronaldo and I, and some of the people I was hanging out with today, as you go on, you're battling gravity, you're battling, and science is helping out. One of the things that is really helping out is that stem cell research. And if you know anything about stem cells, basically what it's doing is, well, what it is, a stem cell is the growth cell. It's coming out of the area that creates new growth. It's like taking the cells of a newborn baby, and putting them into, let's say, the knee area, shooting them into certain, and doctors know where and how and all that. But it's very expensive. I mean, this poor woman has sent information about the kind of dollars she's actually trying to change something within herself, physically locate, she's trying to move on to another thing, let's just say. And she's captured, how I said my machinery business landlocked me. Now I've got this as I wound down the machinery business. If you guys keep subscribing, please subscribe, and subscribe your friends and call your neighbors and subscribe, because I want to do this the rest of my life. And I'm still putting money into it. And there's a point where I need to start drawing money from it. There are paid guests, and that offsets and has extended my savings. But I want to do this the rest of my life. I think it's a great community that you guys have built. I think it's a great message that you guys are part of, and like Ronaldo here are adding suggestions on what makes the people more gifted, more able to have the qualities to do the things that make this country great again. To coin a current, oh, look at this. I was wearing this earlier. What do you guys think? Should I wear a hat every now and then or not? I look like an athlete today. So while we're talking about running, I'll pursue this. So, that stem cell really, it takes the ability of your body. It gives the ability of your body. It uses the existing ability of your body through interjecting new cells to grow, tethered, worn areas that have the ability to kind of regrow. That's as far technically, which none of that was very technical, but that's as far as I can really go into that without having feedback from people who actually have much more expertise in it. So I'll lay on that with the stem cells, but that should be enough for anybody who's curious. What the heck is Ronaldo talk about? That's what a stem cell process is. And actually, Ronaldo, I don't know if you've even commented back yet, but yeah, I mean, you could probably actually add some things to add color between the layers of what I said about stem cells. And then living off the grid, and I think everybody here on this show actually knows how much I want to do that. What I've done here in Oklahoma, in Mangum, Oklahoma, and we'll talk a lot about the city here in a little bit, but what I've done here is created a landing spot. Not necessarily even a jump off spot, but just a landing spot to have a base of where I want to start accomplishing some of the goals that I have always had for myself. And actually my boys have as well from our growing up together. We've always, and my dad always wanted a farm, a gentleman's farm, a cow, a couple of cows, a few cows. I've gotten some input from good friends of the show across the ways, but there's different abilities to take care of things. But the bottom line, at the very least, I want to have a horse and dog rescue. I'm actually talking to the people in the city here about creating some land. The only thing is, I have to walk that very slowly because, the money available for people to support causes, the economy is just starting to come back, and a lot of people are unsure. So it's something I really have to be able to dedicate on my own, myself, to be able to do. With us, maybe we can create some sort of a foundation or something. We're still floating around 320 here. I appreciate you guys being in. This, I'm going to give them a little free advertising here because they're awesome people. 10 City, lady bought it bought the facility and created this company just short of a year. As a matter of fact, she started that company the month before we started live streaming here. So she's right about at a year now and looks to be a pretty successful place. Great people working there. Fortunately, a younger group of people, because we have a common issue all across the world, or at least our country. A lot of middle folk are just kind of absent from the world. And the older and younger folks, I see Ronaldo just popped on. So, okay, I'll get to you in a second, Ronaldo. Thank you. We got to make sure that we attract the younger folks, because if there's not much here for them, where are they going to go? And that's what kills societies. And that's the responsibility, and all ties back to the beginning of the show, which is the leadership in our government, in this case, for this region. Now, keep in mind, this is a very small town, a couple thousand people, a little over that, but not much. I think I added dramatically to the population when I showed up with my 2 dogs. But the unfortunate thing that's going on is the leadership in this, and it's being talked about all over the town. Believe it or not, here's the thing. The problems are all across the country. People always ask me, why Mangum? Why here? Why did I go from Orange County, Ladera Ranch, Irvine, where else? Yorba Linda, Huntington Beach, anywhere else out there in California, Placentia. That's where my boys went to El Dorado High School. And all of our growing up really started about that time. Before that, it was all just play fun. And then we all started growing up in high school, meaning when they were growing up, I started to have to grow up too. It was still fun. Why Mangum? Why here? And it's because I want to experience, and something that I'm going to get to here in a second is really a curiosity to me. It's fascinating, in that I'm learning that the problems that or the benefits, whatever we're talking about. Light's a little better today. It's not as dark as it was. I'm going to take this hat back off. But the problems exist all over the country, or if they do, it's all over the country. And when it does, the interesting thing is that it's the same exact thing. There's certain people that are issues. There's certain governmental agencies that are issues. And now let's talk about leadership. And there's a big leadership issue that a lot of people are talking about. And I'm not going to get into it yet. Hopefully I will at some point, because it's important. This isn't about them. This isn't about the people of the leadership. This is about their performance in doing what their local people have put them in, trusted them with that position to do. Now, I say trusted, and here's the problem. I asked somebody this morning, well, if this and this and this and this, why do you keep putting, I mean, how are they there if that's the case? So now we're back down to what I always talk about. And you know what? This is all of our fault. This is my fault. This is your fault. The reason that the government, if you don't like what's going on in the government, don't fucking threaten to move. Change it. Get freaking involved, man. I mean, seriously. So I asked somebody, you know, why are they still here if that's what, and it seems like almost everybody does. So there's some other dynamics that are involved, and I won't get into all that till I actually know something about it. I know enough to say there's some other dynamics involved. That's it right now. Otherwise, I might get the city not liking me before I'm even here, immersed. So, Tin City, shout out to you guys, man. The owner is just a wonderful woman. Started the company, like I said, a year ago. She also works. She runs a department at the local hospital. So you see how difficult. I mean, the challenges are here and they're everywhere. The difference is, you know, the people they're talking about. You know, the next smallest city I ever lived in was Oswego, Illinois. That's 40,000 people. Now, surrounding that is Aurora, the City of Lights. Great story about that. I won't get into it, but history there. City of Lights. Just imagine what that's about. It's an old city, just outside of Chicago. Connect some dots. And then in Plainfield, I think it was 89,000 people. And then Naperville was another 120,000 people. And this is like us. And then you get out to Sandwich, which was, you know, like here, probably. Yeah. Well, maybe not even as big as here, and then other places, and it drifts off. So there, the issues were there, and there's these public figures you hear about, but you have never really have an opportunity or a way to ever shake somebody's hand unless you purposely do that. Here, no matter where you turn, you're seeing somebody you've already seen somewhere else, because people are active, and it's, like I said, a small town, and I'm hoping to have an effect that starts here, because what I see is the same problems everywhere, but on a micro scale, on a look what I see scale. There's the national, there's the world, right? And then there's the national, and then there's this, and then you have a micro, and when that matches this, you can really learn some really interesting things because of the colors that you can get between the layers. I use that definition for a reason, because I think all of the best, mostly we see or pay attention to are the layers, but there's colors between those layers. And what I mean by that is not only filling in the information, but adding to the layer itself. Adding a description, not just that it is, but that it is, and this is why, how, when, where. You know, that's where the adding the colors between the layers of a subject come in, because we need to do that more so that we can have each layer that much better. All right, let's get a couple comments here. A couple more, I should say. So I think, Joe, we kind of jumped on SAP Cloud Solutions so early. I'm gonna let that for at some point, if Sean ever comes back on, or the next AI guest we have. And I think this afternoon may be an AI guest. I'm sorry, they just signed up a couple of days ago, and I actually just sent out their thing yesterday. So catching up, trying to get dialed in. And I think the studio is kind of getting there. The town is starting to teach me about its life. I went and checked out the local Baptist church in town here, right off of the main drag, the main city downtown. There's an old city and a new city. the main drag of the newer city is where this beautiful church. It was a beautiful sermon yesterday, which was led off by a young 16, 17, 15, I think more like 16 though, boy who was baptized to open up the day, which was nice. First time I'd ever been to church in Oklahoma. And so it was interesting. I went there first because, I grew up Southern Baptist. This was not quite the same traditions, so it was interesting. The sermon was sermons are awesome. To be in the house of the Lord is a great feeling. It's a comfort of peace. I'm really interested in going to there's a lot of churches in this little town. My God, I think there's like 7 or 8 different denominations, which is surprising to me. So anyway, Joe, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mr. I assume that's a typo. Shepherd. I would assume Joe Shepherd. Not sure how you would say it. The biggest breakthrough moment with AI and SAP. My personal biggest breakthrough was this show, because it's now turning all SAP and automation. I've already gone into those subjects a lot about this show. Kenneth, if you want me to build on what I just said, hit me back up before the show ends. We're only about 40 minutes in. I don't see much going past an hour easily today. Usually we would. I think this show would have gone maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you can make AI fun, you've got something good going on there, right? So let's go back to Lori Todd here. Love that name. Lori, how can startups leverage SAP without Mason? Bottom line is, and I talk about this a lot too, Lori, hit me up if you want me to expand on this. And you guys can all comment. Please subscribe, but you can all comment, like the show, but comment on the show and ask more questions. I about every couple of days go through the shows. We have almost, I haven't checked lately, but I think we got to be coming up on 300 episodes since last September. Not even a year. It's crazy. It's going awesome. So leave comments as well, because I always remark back. If you have an email or a phone number you want me to directly contact you on, I will. Several people have done that, and we do communicate regularly. Text, phone messages, calls, conversations, the whole bit. It's a fun little community we have here. You guys are awesome people, and I love growing with you. As far as without massive budgets, I give this comparison. I'm just going to give one on this, Lori. If you want me to expand, go ahead. Let me know. Appreciate you guys sticking around for our abridged version of a non-paid guest. I got to figure out, guys, another suggestions for the show. Got a couple of them so far. Stem cell, off the grid, food preparation. That's one I know my son Austin will want to do, and I know Ronaldo will want to talk about. Rumor has it she's an amazing cook and just lives on it, loves it. God, what a beautiful, peaceful place I picture in my head when I think of that, Ronaldo. Today, technology is extremely inexpensive. What still is a cost is learning about this technology, because then you got to just hire a contractor to do something that is doable, like painting a trim on a house. But instead of me doing it or learning it, I hire somebody to do that. So that adds a little bit of margin there. They got to keep their lights on and feed their families and all that, make a profit. But now we're moving into a place, let's say you know it enough, where you may have some things that are a little more complicated. You want some help on, you can learn from that. But now, I do automations myself, and it cost me what used to cost me thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars in marketing programs now cost me tens of thousands of cents, tens of thousands of pennies. So it's very, very cost effective. AI has given the little folks, the startups, the mom and pops, the ability to compete with the big boys, let's say, the big companies, the big boxes, because they were the only ones who had the technology before. None of this is bad. And when I say they were the ones that had this technology before, great, that's awesome. It's just now we have it. So we're fighting on a different, in our ability to pivot faster and our abilities that we have in the show. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to change this a little bit. In our abilities to change quicker and to react to customers' needs, and our intelligence in what our expertise is, the thing we're selling, is that enough to make ground on the big established companies, the multi-hundreds of employee type companies. This is where it's going to be interesting in the future, and not just technology businesses, but all businesses with the technology that's there. I can now do marketing programs. I remember doing a software. I can say this, they're a good company. I just recently have stopped using them since I started in 2014. Company's called Salesforce. And they're not paying me. They're not sponsoring the show, just like they're another free one. Free, 10 City. Guys, you're in this area, got to go here. This is one drink, but they do hot, cold coffees, desserts. They do breakfasts. I don't think they do any lunch. And just the greatest people in the world, the greatest coffee, and they send this coffee all over the world to not only distributors, but they brew their own, meaning they roast their own, and they have different things. And sometimes I like to get into some conversation about it, because I was a coffee drinker, just regular coffee every morning, drank it, but I didn't need coffee. I still don't need coffee. But when I had my issue, I stopped drinking coffee because I didn't want to be too, it was a concerning time, as you guys all know, who've been on this show for the last year. But they got me back into coffee. I just went in for the curiosity, and I ordered a breakfast burrito, and the barista, Mary, wonderful young lady, who also is the cake decorator at the grocery store chain. The one here locally is called United. It's like my old Jewel Osco, smaller version. There it was big. Here it's same exact stuff, same things, just less numbers. And she's the cake decorator there, so she's got a little artistic. She works there and then works at the other place as she's learning to be a vet. Okay, does this woman have some stuff built within her, in her genes and her own experiences that are impressive as hell? Great woman, really, really nice, very attractive, very, very down to earth, and happy, just happy. Just you ever see that from vibes from people? That's a neat thing. So yes, you can start. You can totally leverage SAP, and you can keep that at a very minimal cost. And we'll talk more about it. You ought to join our AI class and community. Give me a holler, hit me a text, or send me a message. We're here on YouTube at Rod Duff, RODDDUFF, 1939, all one word, right? Here on YouTube, but we're also on LinkedIn. We're on my profile on LinkedIn. I've got a couple of them. One's called personal. One's this. One's in a. Do we still have the suit? No, I think I'm behind one of these cameras in one of them. The other one, I've got a bald head, like now, but back then I didn't have a bald. I shave my head once or twice a year, just for the heck of it, especially during the summer, because I like to feel the different hot. When you shave, I don't know who out there who has done this, but I noticed it especially the first couple of times I did it. When the air is not all the same temperature. In a 10-foot radius, you could feel 4 or 5 different temperatures. When you have hair on, even stubble, you don't notice it. It's that insulation thing. But when you shave your head to a baby's butt, like here is, I've got to get to the rest of this, but like right here is the part I'm not proud of. But when you get to that point on your head, you can feel just a little cool breeze, a little bubble of cool air, a little bubble of warm air. It's really kind of a weird, neat little thing. So yes, leverage your SAP, do it, and ask me how. Come join the community. Let's talk about it, Larry. Do you think AI will replace traditional IT roles soon? It's funny you asked that because I was just thinking about that. The instant reaction is to say, yes, it will. But as we think about this, most IT is the technology behind, whereas most of AI is the intelligence, the software. So IT being the hardware, AI being the software. That's not exactly true, but let's just keep it simple. So I use a lot of AI now already, and have for a little while. Jared, RJ, cool name, very cool name. But I need to get there's a new IT company I just saw in downtown, brand new building. Looks like they moved from another building because I saw them somewhere else. So it looks like they've been around a little bit. Just left a message for them because IT is more about the hardware, the connecting the chain of hardware that needs to accomplish something. For instance, at the office, and I haven't reset it back up yet, but we have a server that used to connect 3 different buildings. And in that server would connect to that server, sub-server, let's call it, and that sub-server. And that way, Bill or Susie or Jared or let's say Lori or Ronalda could be in building 3 and working on something on the server that's in building 1. You're all adding to that file, that document, to that whatever. It's all off the server. That way you don't have stuff all over the place. And it's easier to manage and keep your memory under control. Now, that was sweet. First of all, the server's a little old, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to manage that, because now that all beautiful, man. And the safety, you got to go in through a firewall. The server kind of says, okay, here's our fortress. If you want in, ask us. If we want you in, you're in. Here's the way. If you're not, you don't know where our walls are. So you don't know how to get in. So I don't think it may alter it. Actually, IT may become more of an important support. So think about it this way. You have a contractor. This isn't exactly as good of a description as I thought, but let's just use it. So there's ITAT, there's AI, there's AO, which is operations. So automation, AI is artificial intelligence is the big buzzword in this grouping, but AI is actually AO also, and a half a dozen other ones, which is basically the intelligence of operations, in different aspects of our societal and economic structure. So that's all going to need IT roles for the setting up of the substructure of the components of the way it goes. Then you add on to that. I told you I was all set up with my server. Now that's all here. It's on ice, so to speak. We're very low budget technology, low technology right now because we can't afford it. Not money wise, just too much complexity. This IT company, I'm going to need them to add storage and probably based storage. So that's where, again, now you're getting back to AI, which is starting to manage that after it's been set up by IT. Make sense? If you need more information on that, Gerard, I am here for you, brother. Looks like we are going to run, unless anybody else has any questions. We got two more from my my gorgeous little digital bunny here. Sorry, I'm just having fun today. It's almost an open mic day. We don't have any shows. Let's see, what is today? Today's the 5th, but what day is it? I'm thinking it's Tuesday, right? I'm thinking it's Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday so far, we don't have any schedule. And then from that point on, for the next 2 weeks, we have just one a day, which is cool. So there are a few slots that are available. I'm not allowing any unpaid slots right now because I've got a lot of other stuff I got to set up too. So I want to talk to you guys, but I need more suggestions. I'll probably do coffee and tea times. Hell, Ronaldo, you ought to jump on, be a guest. Let's chit chat about a couple of these things. It's an open invitation. If you want to do it, let's do it. I send that out as a double dog dare you. I say that for a reason, and you know why I'm saying that. So was living off grid for 15 years. This is what I was talking about in some of the subjects that her and I were talking about. And this is where I want to go. This is where I want to get to. That farm. I want a horse and dog rescue. I'm actually looking at some property like across the street to like for tear down property and to build a little doggy park until I can get to the point where I have 100 acres with a river running through it, some mountains. There's some awesome mountains here. I guess there's a huge state park here. It's called, hey, let me ask Ronaldo, do you know this state park? The pastor came over to my house yesterday and we were just chatting. But he told me about this place. One picture. Oh, you chick. Oh, that's all right. Fine. I just got, okay. You know what I'm talking about. So let's go down here to Lee Padilla, Quartz Mountain National Park. I think it's a national park. Maybe it's a state park. I'm not sure. But it's got this huge river and it's got, lake, and it's got all these granite. It's funny because, topography, right? You guys know what topography is, the measurement of, against sea level. Topography is how the land moves, so to speak, lays upon the earth, the crust of the earth. What's that topography? It's the measure of the height of hills and valleys and ocean against the ocean, 32 feet above ocean, that kind of thing. 15 years, but not easy to do that. So yeah, no, it's no doubt it's not easy. And it's funny. And it's not as hard as you would think. Bear me out here, Ronaldo. I know I have no idea what I'm talking about to a degree. And you know a lot of what you're talking about. So just hear me out before you cut my head off here. Reason I say that is because with this situation, I've got so many priorities and there's just I'm trying to get different contractors in, and there's certain ones that are hard to nail down, let's say. So some of that is just putting up TV mount. There's certain things I don't like doing. I know I'm a guy. I should want to do all the mechanical stuff in the world. And that'll go back to your point about living off grid. Hold on. Excuse me. But I don't want to mount TVs. I don't want to. I've got the mounts. I've got the stuff. I've got this. But there's certain things I'm good at, and then there's certain things that I kind of just make work. I could build something. I built bird aviaries and all that, but you know what? I want it to look good and function better than I want to take the pride in putting up a TV mount. That's the bottom line. Then I've got some plumbing work I got to get done. I've got to replace a bathroom, and then from that point on, we're going to be built. I think we're going that way. Double story that way, pool over there, land back over there. Oh man, that's going to take up about that much. Well, maybe not really even that much. But then I want to get, and so when I have this here, until I can get to that point, I want to get some property with a river. I'd say stream, but who knows whether they're going all the time or not. With trees and hills and so forth on it. And I want a horse rescue and a dog rescue. I want to be able to afford to be able to have somebody, a vet, Maria, Tin Roof. She's the one going to school to be a vet now. And where does she want to go? Texas. The problem that we have here in this town is losing gifted, talented people like that. So we got to work our way through it. And that goes back to the leadership. All this stuff ties together, folks. Ronaldo, here's another one. Oh, Lake Murray? I don't know if that's the name of the lake. I know the park is called, well, I don't know this. I was told this by somebody. It's called Quartz Mountain National Park. I don't know what the name of the lake is, though. I can find out. I'll check it out. I'll let you know. Excuse me. That's funny. Look at what Ronaldo just put. How many stoplights in town? Post office, etc. In my town, one stoplight, only one real grocery store. What about you? Okay. I'm kind of feeling better about this town now. My town, if you look it up, Mangum, like man gum. I thought there was some cool little like translation because there's a lot of Indian. You know this, there's a lot of Indian reservations and so forth around here. There's some famous areas where Custer fought the Indians. Right up the street here, there's a national monument. Not right up the street, but just right outside the town, from what I understand, is the city of, I think it's Cheyenne, and in Cheyenne is where that historical thing happened. So in this town, I haven't counted them yet, but most of the street lights are yellow blinking, which makes sense. You got to caution, but there are in town itself, just the downtown, there are 5, maybe 6, 7 in that little area. I'll figure out how to get a shot of it. You do a Google, Ronaldo, do a Google map on the city. You'll see it's actually a pretty cool town, but the problem, and it was bustling at one time. Alta is now the bustling town because the Air Force put a base up there. So it's growing a lot and taking from here, and the city council doesn't know what the hell they're doing, apparently. I don't know that, and I hope I didn't just bust the thing I've been trying not to do, because tonight is a meeting, and I want to go there and check it out, watch, see how it goes. I got to find that out, though. Okay, so it looks like me and Ronaldo are having a private conversation. So Gerard, unless you want to get into the conversation, it looks like me and Ronaldo are just having a coffee break here. Joe, Kenneth, Lori, Gerard, you guys, we are at an hour. And so here we go. How many stoplights, right? So I have one grocery store, true grocery store, but we also have a Dollar General. We have Ace Hardware. We have a bunch of really cool restaurants, actually. Then we have some nail salons, a couple of salons in town, which I'm not going to go to, but found this out today. Several nail salons. We got an eyelash bar, people for eyelash, which is kind of that's new wave. And then a couple of hair people and all of that going on. So we've got that. It's kind of bizarre because we're a very small town, so you would think nothing's really here, but we have a huge police force. Probably when I see just the police, there's usually like 10 cars out front. We have a huge, when I say huge, I mean like they were bigger than my town in Placentia, California, which was, let's call it a big town. They had their own SWAT team. This doesn't have that, but their police department here is bigger than that. Their sheriff's department, I think has like 8-10 people in the sheriff's department. The mail, I usually see 4, 5, 6 mail trucks. The school system of Mangum takes up, I bet you there's 11, not all in the same spot, but 11 city blocks of just school administration buildings, and then the schools. There's a huge, I told you about this the other day. Where am I sitting? Right over there. I'm looking at my neighbor's back. Well, I'm looking at a forest, but which is a cool scene. But right on the other side of that is my neighbors and their back. And then on the front of their property, the street, one of the streets, I've got one here, the intersection, then the park. That has a huge stuff, pool. I mean, I've shown you some videos of it, which is, again, all this is surprising. And then when I bought this place, I had to go to Alta, which is that town, the bigger town where the guy was. Well, he had to end up coming here the next day because I had to go back home. So he had to come and get it registered at the registrar, county register. Mangum is the capital of Greer County. We're in the very bottom southwest corner, not the panhandle, which I started to say the other day, because Texas has its panhandle and we have our panhandle. And then we come down and then Texas comes over. No, am I doing that right? Yeah, and then Texas comes over and we come over to meet it. That makes the square. So we're in the very southwest corner of what, let's call it if you have a chopping axe, this is the panhandle, and then you have the axe that comes down. We're in the southwest corner of that. So we have a very large support structure, several hospitals in town, a couple of dentists, a couple of optometry centers. And then you go to the big box stuff, that's up in Altus, and that's Alta, and that's 27, 24 miles away, something like that. So it's not as small as of a town as I would think, but here's where it gets crazy, is the whole town's probably, I can drive from one end of the city to the other. The longest trip I could possibly make would take 4 minutes. So, I live in a neighborhood, pretty cool one. I'm in the very last, before the homes get freaking beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful homes, very, very nice home. So I'm now bringing that back into the neighborhood. I think I bought in the right spot, so that's what I'm hoping. It's not as little as you would think because of what it is. It was a very important town, and now we've got leadership that needs to get it back to that. Ronaldo, Lake Murray. Yeah, Murray. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll find out. I'll let you know. We have ways of communicating. And then they're a vet horse rescue for sale. And, I saw that. They lost the only vet. Oh, that's interesting. In Colorado. I'll do Colorado, girl. Check out some of her social media. She's got some shots of her place out there in Colorado. Oh my God, it's my dream. You, Ronaldo, are living my dream. So let's take hands, like I do with Emma sometimes. Her and I take hands to walk down a subject, and she'll even get after me if I have the wrong arm out. She did that the other day. That was funny as hell. All right, I guess that's it, folks. So I didn't get any other real suggestions. Obviously, people, I think, started to say, okay, well, this isn't about AI. Let's sit back and enjoy our coffee and talk about our kids and wave the flag around. There you go. Wave the flag around a little bit. Let's get the earth going. Let's get nature going on the things like the Appalachian Trail. Let's take pride in our country and who we are and what we do for the rest of the world. Only because we're America. And most importantly of all, let's get back to what our founding fathers set up. They threw a curveball. Governments have been around for 3,000 years. The first government was actually formed 3 millennia ago. There were 2 of them, 2 cities. I'm going blank on the names, but they're historically famous or whatever, known. So look them up. Over that 3,000 years, governments have perfected running people, because for them it's a money-making thing, right? I mean, you set up now this goes back, obviously. You don't just do this today, but let's say you start a country or you start whatever, something happens. And what is the first thing you do? You set up the school system. You set up the structure to depend on the government, every little thing. And then when you do that, now you have control over the people. Now you set the price. This is what taxes are going to be. This is what and as long as you don't push it too far, or you're not afraid to kill everybody who stands up and says, wait a minute, then you've got a good way to make billions of dollars, stick them in your pocket, huge mansions while your people starve. Is that not an uncommon thing? The better societies like ours in Europe and other cultured things. Now, there are some ones that are better than us. I'd say that Finland, maybe it's Sweden. The folks that didn't lock everybody down during COVID, and they were just fine. They have a better standard of living for their people, much smaller, different complexities, so maybe easier. But the best societies in today's world are governments that are run by people that allow us to get by, not to strive, to get by. The school system is designed to turn you into a worker. Nobody's stopping you from doing better, but the system is designed to support the system. So you have people that are in office now. I won't name names, both sides of the aisle, been there forever, came in, making 80, 90, 100 grand a year, whatever. And their particular salary is 200,000 a year, whatever it is. The point is, after 10, 15, 30 years in office, they go from 10 years in office to like 2.5 million, 3 million, maybe a home or two on top of that. 15 years, all of a sudden they're getting some more money. Now they got offshore accounts. By the time that the people who are in office now, that we're all saying, how the hell are they still in office? They can't even sit upright. There are grandparents at our grandparents' best, or maybe not at our grandparents' best. They are the people that were there, and for some reason are still there, but nobody knows why, because what the hell have they ever done for us? Not them. I mean, we know people that are shutting down entire societies and making people feel like scum if they don't listen to them, while they do something else and go out and get hairstyles that we're not allowed to do. I mean, there are a lot of really bad people. And I'm not just talking about, I sent out a social media today, the new attack against the infidels. Anybody who's not that is an infidel. Even some of them are an infidel. There's literally, and I sent it out on social media today. I sent out about 20 different clips, 20-ish, 30-ish seconds long, clips of people speaking to audiences, talking about bullets are now replaced at the ballot for the what's that called? Infrafraud, Infafada, the kill all white people, kill all Christians, kill all everybody who's not a Muslim, and you get a 77 virgins. I was talking to somebody today. I'm not a big religion fan. I'm a God fan. You know, I don't pray. I speak to God all the time. I just talk to him. I consider that being to be, but what I have a problem with is there's basically 4 major religions. You could technically add 2 more into there. Mid-major, kind of like college, athletics. And in the 4 major, I do include Buddhism. And again, argue with me if you want, whatever. There's a point to this, though. And the reason I say that is because if you go through every one of those, I mean, you have Christians back in Ireland. You have Christians and Protestants killing each other. And before that, and since that, and throughout all time, you have Islamic, I mean, the Turks, all different things. These religious wars, killing Christians, Christians killing them, because of religious, I don't know, the spread of the beauty of religion. Yet they all have the same exact God. Not that they all have a God. They all believe and refer to the same exact God. One God, only one God. They're all knowing different names for the same God. Transferred. No, not transferred. When something's in another language, you change it to your language and it's called whatever. God. Now, there's different messiahs. There's different angels. There's all angels. All have angels. All have evil. Some have 12 levels of heaven, 12 levels of earth, 12 levels of hell, but they all have that. They all have the floods in their stories. The flood, the Moses thing, right? They all have that. It's the same exact timing and description with the different changes. You read one book and it says the same thing, exactly the same thing, but a little different color in the wording. I'm really itchy on my wrist today. I don't know why. So I don't know why I got on the subject, but religion is a very frustrating subject to me because I believe God, he's the father, right? We're the children. You've all had kids. Now just amplify that. Sometimes it's like, why are they doing this? Why? Makes no sense. I'm doing what I can. And that's why we have this show. And I think there's a reason we do what we do, because there's a lot of need in the world for not being stupid. being informed. As speaking of politicians that have been around forever, but this one in particular, it's got some of the greatest one-liners in the world. And here at Insights and Straight Talk, we talk about all sorts of different things, including politics and this and that. Me, Rod Duff, I love all this stuff. I love learning new information. I love being able to pass along information from guests when they show up. And in this one thing I'm going to leave you with, I'm not going to say his name, but he's on social media a lot. He's not on there. People put memes on there of him because he does a lot of the when they're having hearings, he asks a lot of questions, and he says, life is really, really tough, but you know what? I can't imagine how difficult life is when you're stupid.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.